The evening Sarah's message popped up on my phone. A cold dread seized me. Going on a trip with my ex, don't be jealous. It wasn't merely the words. It was the audacious presumption that oozed from every syllable. For 4 years, I had been the epitome of patience, understanding, and unwavering loyalty. I worked double shifts, meticulously managed the bills, and tirelessly strived to keep the precarious balance of our relationship from toppling. Yet, here she was, flaunting a romantic escapade with the very man she once tearfully declared had shattered her heart beyond mending. My chest tightened, a cold knot forming in my stomach. Did she truly expect me to simply wave her off, a genial smile plastered on my face as she embraced a rendezvous with another? A hollow, bitter laugh escaped my lips. For months, I had noticed her phone flipping face down whenever I entered the room. The hushed late-night whispers, the sudden, flimsy excuses to stay out. I had desperately tried to convince myself I was imagining things, that paranoia was getting the better of me. But now, the truth was undeniable, written in her own hand, stark and unashamed. The sheer audacity ignited a searing fire within me. This wasn't a request for understanding, it was a brazen taunt, as if I were a simpleton who would merely await her return, oblivious to her transgression. She expected jealousy, perhaps a desperate plea for me not to go. But I wasn't going to give her the satisfaction. My fingers, though trembling, moved with a sudden, decisive resolve. "Don't worry," I typed. "I won't be here when you get back." No second thoughts, no editing, just a firm press of send. A profound, almost surreal calm washed over me. In that single moment, I had irrevocably flipped the script. I could almost visualize her triumphant smirk faltering, morphing into confusion as she absorbed my reply. She had grown accustomed to wielding all the power, to me silently swallowing my pride, endlessly striving to appease her. But no more. My words weren't an empty threat. They were a solemn vow. That night, I packed with a quiet, deliberate efficiency. Each shirt folded, every drawer meticulously emptied. I surveyed the apartment, once our sanctuary, now a stark museum of ignored red flags, the cloying scent of her perfume on the couch, her too-wide smile in framed photos, a grin she rarely shared with me. Everything felt suddenly staged, a fragile facade. By midnight, my escape was loaded into the car. My departure wasn't fueled by anger alone. It was forged in an icy clarity. Sarah had believed she had me precisely where she wanted, a cornered pawn whose emotions she could manipulate while I served as her convenient safety net. She remained blissfully unaware that her single, careless message had shattered the elaborate illusion of control she so desperately clung to. The next morning, my phone erupted with a torrent of messages from Sarah. Initially, they were lighthearted, almost flippant. "Wait, what do you mean you won't be here?" Then, confusion crept in. "Are you seriously upset about this?" "It's just a trip." Finally, panic seized her. "Where are you? Answer me, please."
I didn't respond.
I was already miles down the highway, shedding not only the apartment but years of silent compromise, of relentlessly prioritizing her fleeting happiness over my fundamental dignity. My silence resonated more profoundly than any angry text ever could. I found a small apartment across town, nothing extravagant, but imbued with a profound peace. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, I felt truly light. No longer was I constantly gauging her moods, tiptoeing around potential arguments, or waiting for an affection that seldom materialized. Freedom, I discovered, had an unexpected taste, sharp, almost bittersweet, yet unequivocally, gloriously mine. 2 days later, Jason, a mutual friend, called, his voice laced with a mixture of disbelief and genuine pity. "Man," he began, "Sarah's absolutely unraveling. She's telling everyone you abandoned her over a harmless trip. Says you totally overreacted." I let out a humorless laugh. Harmless? She went with her ex. What did she expect? A congratulatory bouquet? Jason paused, then offered a truth that resonated deeply. "Honestly, everyone sees what she did. She's just mortified you didn't play the part she assigned you. You didn't beg, you didn't fight. You just walked away. That's what's truly devouring her. And he was profoundly right. Sarah had always reveled in control. The manufactured drama, the ensuing chaos, the tearful apologies that reeled me back in. These were her preferred instruments of manipulation. But this time, I had denied her the stage. I had departed in utter silence, a silence that now roared louder than any argument we could have ever endured. Later that week, she appeared at my new door. I didn't open it. Through the solid wood, her voice fractured, oscillating between raw anger and desperate pleading. "You can't just abandon everything we built," she cried. "It was just a trip. I needed space. Clarity. Don't throw us away over this." Her words rang hollow, devoid of truth. Space? Clarity? She hadn't needed space when she relied on me for rent, when she used my car for her daily errands, when she wept on my shoulder about the world's cruelty. No, the only time she craved space was when her ex re-entered her orbit. I stood listening but utterly unmoved. This ceased to be about love long ago. This was about respect. And once that cornerstone crumbled, there was no rebuilding. Days bled into weeks. Sarah's messages grew shorter, colder, imbued with a bitter edge. What began as pleas quickly devolved into accusations. "You never really loved me. You're heartless. I bet you were just waiting for an excuse to leave." But her words, intended to sting, held no power over me now. For the first time, I could discern her transparent attempts to wound, yet remain impervious to their venom. She was unraveling, and I, at last, was truly free. I immersed myself in work, meticulously rebuilding my routines, rediscovering the fragments of myself I had sacrificed while contorting my existence to her mercurial moods. I resumed my gym regimen, reconnected with neglected friends, even indulged in quiet evening walks, answering to no one. That profound, simple freedom to simply be, unmonitored, uncriticized, unburdened by guilt, surpassed any superficial comfort she had ever offered. One evening, Jason forwarded a screenshot from Sarah's social media. She had posted a picture with her ex, accompanied by some saccharine caption about finding herself and true love never truly dying. The comments, however, were far from the supportive validation she undoubtedly craved. People openly questioned her judgment, condemned her disrespect, even ridiculed her for pursuing a relationship that had spectacularly failed once before. I didn't comment, didn't message, didn't even feel a flicker of anger. I simply closed the screen and smiled. The universe, I reflected, possesses its own irrefutable way of unveiling truth. A month later, Sarah materialized at my door again, but this time, her anger had evaporated, replaced by a profound brokenness. Her voice trembled as she confessed the trip had been a disaster. Old habits, familiar arguments, and festering wounds between her and her ex had reignited almost immediately. "I made a mistake," she whispered, her eyes pleading. "I thought he'd changed, but he hasn't. You were the stable one, the one who truly cared. Please give me another chance." I met her gaze for a long, quiet moment. There was a time, not so long ago, when those words would have been the balm my soul craved. But that time had passed. They were too late. "I did love you," I said softly, my voice calm but firm. "But love alone isn't enough when respect has been utterly destroyed. You made your choice the moment you boarded that plane. I made mine when I walked away." Her eyes welled with tears, but my resolve remained unshaken. She turned and left that night, and I closed the door behind her, not with anger, not with lingering regret, but with a profound and liberating finality. For the first time in years, I wasn't chasing, wasn't fixing, wasn't waiting. I was simply living. And that, I realized, was the purest, sweetest revenge of all. Thank you for watching this story. If you found yourself nodding along or felt a connection to this tale of self-respect and transformation, please consider subscribing to the Echo Tales channel for more powerful narratives. And don't forget to leave your thoughts and feedback in the comments below. Your input helps our stories resonate further.